presentation, panelist introductions, and then we will go into a panel Q&A. So thank you again for being with us, and we're excited to introduce OLP to you and help you dive a little bit deeper into our program. So before we actually show the tour, I'm just going to let you know that the concept of tonight is that it is a sort of a reimagine of our parent breakfast tours that we did in pre-COVID world. And the nice thing about this is that we have all of you future pilots on here as well. And so this can really be a family event. And we're setting the stage for our additional admissions events. So we encourage you to sign up for our upcoming open house, as well as several different Q&A nights. We are actually launching an athletics night and also an admission, scholarship, and tuition assistance information night. So be on the lookout for those two additions, in addition to the academic department chair panel and our holistic student experience Q&A. So just some Zoom etiquette, we would ask that you turn off your cameras for the presentation and that you please stay on mute. And we encourage you to type any questions that you have in the chat. We are joined here tonight by our head of school, Dr. Lauren Leck, and our assistant head of school, Mrs. Jessica Hooper. And the three of us will help monitor the chat. We will save some questions for the panelists as we see fit that they would be the best person to answer. And other questions we will go ahead and take care of if they're a little bit more logistic. So just know that you are welcome to utilize that chat to put any questions into the room. And I'll put this in the chat, but to view the slides and the podium evenly, you can change your view options to side-by-side mode. So let's go ahead and view our virtual tour.
The Academy of Our Lady of Peace, lovingly known as OLP, has been my home away from home for the last 4 years. As I look back on my 4 years here, I realize that OLP has made me into the woman I am today. This is the place where I found my voice, my passion, my sisters, where I took on new challenges, left my comfort zone, and became a change maker and a trailblazer. Come and join me on this journey and discover the adventure that awaits you as a student at the Academy of Our Lady of Peace. OLP is the oldest high school and the only Catholic all-girls school in San Diego. A school for girls creates an environment that allows each of us to explore our passions and potential without the pressure that often exists in a co-ed environment. At OLP, among my sisters, I am confident. I am not afraid to ask questions in class. I thrive in an environment where all leadership positions are held by girls. There is nothing quite like the OLP sisterhood and the bonds you form during your 4 years here that last a lifetime. You'll go on to support your sisters in college and beyond and experience life's adventures together for years to come. At OLP, girls occupy every leadership role. With more than 600 leadership opportunities available, you'll find something for you. Leadership roles are abundant at OLP, including opportunities in student government, clubs, athletics, and the performing arts. By participating in all that OLP has to offer, I have developed relationships with my teachers that transcend the classroom experience. While at OLP, I've discovered that spirituality isn't just found in the theology courses I take, but rather it is incorporated into so many aspects of our daily life. Faculty work alongside students to provide them yet another leadership opportunity through roles in facilitating retreats, planning liturgies, organizing social justice awareness activities, and serving the dear neighbor in San Diego and across the world. Last year, my amazing OLP sisters collectively completed more than 30,000 hours of community service. At OLP, I get to see myself as someone who can pursue a pathway in one of the many STEM fields. Here, I have come to believe I can be that girl because I see my OLP sisters doing it. The options available in courses like robotics, engineering, and computer science prepare us for meeting the needs of tomorrow's society. We have access to more than 30 classes in the STEM disciplines: science, technology, engineering, and math. Additionally, our robotics team competes nationally as the first all-girls team. This team has allowed my classmates to see themselves as inventors, scientists, and engineers. Our vibrant visual and performing arts department celebrates creativity, imagination, and innovative thinking through theater, dance, ceramics, choir, painting, and so much more. We host various shows, exhibitions, and performances throughout the year, including our annual Spring Sing production, a musical production exclusively run by students. More than 400 students, including myself, participated in last year's 50th anniversary production, which promotes leadership, creativity, sisterhood, and friendly competition among the classes. In the very heart of our campus is our pilot production studio, known as PTV, which gives students hands-on experience using the latest broadcasting technology to produce daily student-led all-school broadcasts. The productions are done completely by students, from planning to filming to editing. We're so lucky to have more than 50 clubs at OLP, allowing us to pursue our interests beyond the classroom. Students from different grade levels, backgrounds, and experiences participate in clubs, and it's a great way to make friends. The club experience includes academic, service, spiritual, social, and cultural offerings. Our clubs range from the Creative Writing Project, Culinary Club, to Women in Politics, Mock Trial, and Feeding America. In addition to our many social opportunities, we love sports at OLP. More than 60% of students participate in at least one sport. Many participate in several. OLP has teams in 17 sports, including water polo, dance, cheer, basketball, surf, and tennis. We also offer unique programs such as archery and the only all-girls esports team across Southern California. Now that you have seen and heard so much of what OLP has to offer, we hope you can picture yourself becoming a part of the sisterhood. No matter where your passion lies, or even if you are still trying to figure it out, OLP will put you on a path that will change your life. I know this because mine has been forever changed by these 4 years at OLP. Your legacy starts here.
While that doesn't necessarily take the place of visiting us in person, we think it does a fairly decent job of showing you everything that we have to offer, as well as some visuals of our campus if you haven't had the opportunity to visit us. And you will hear that voice again during the panel. That is our own Dale Cohen, who's a senior, and she is here with us tonight. And now to introduce our panelists for the, our presenters for the evening. If we could get that slide up, Mr. Gonzalez.
Coming right up. Give me a second. I seem to have lost my screen.
I'll go ahead and introduce the two of you. So Mr. Gonzalez is one of our fabulous presenters tonight, and we're grateful for both of the two presenters being with us tonight. Mr. Gonzalez is one of our assistant principals and director of athletics. We have had the pleasure of having him serve at OLP for the last 14 years in several capacities. In addition to his current role, he has also served as a coach and as a faculty member and a department chair at a time or two. And Mrs. Susan Antolin is a proud OLP
The
alumna.
Academy of Art.
There we go. Yay. Mrs. Susan Antolin is a proud OLP alumna, and she has served here as a faculty member, student activities director, and summer program director for the past 7 years. And she is currently a doctoral student at NYU Steinhardt in the Leadership and Innovation program. So both of these two presenters are very busy. And again, thank you both for your time tonight.
Thank you, Mrs. Hubner, for that wonderful introduction. And I'm just really happy as I saw that picture of myself that I'm wearing a different tie, because it seems like I'm wearing the same coat. So I'm very happy about that. Once again, thank you to everybody for joining us this evening. I know it makes it for a long day, but I think it speaks to the already existing commitment you have for the education of your daughters. So we're going to tell you a little bit about OLP. And, you know, if you just narrow down as much as you can what OLP is, we are Catholic, we are an all-girls school, and we're college prep. And we believe that we do those three things very well. But hopefully throughout this presentation, you'll see that we're much more than that. And where that exists, where the you know, when you read between the lines, it's this mission. And I put this mission up because it really is the lens that we do everything at OLP. And when we say that we are rooted in the gospel values, we really mean it. When we say we hold the charism of the Sisters of St. Joseph of Carondelet near and dear to our hearts, and in everything that we do, that's what we do. We empower young women. We create an innovative learning environment. We honor the individual while fostering community. We're a faith-filled community. And, you know, especially in these days and times, that we are committed to loving God and the dear neighbor without distinction. So as you listen to this presentation this evening, I want you to keep in mind this mission, because it's really a sense of tremendous responsibility that we inherited this mission and this charism from our CSJ sisters. So you're going to hear a lot about CSJ tonight. And CSJ are the Sisters of St. Joseph of Carondelet, an amazing group of women that founded our school and continue to sponsor our institution. Now, OLP is founded in 1882, and the sisters have been leaders in educating girls for a long, long time. And they were also a group of amazing women that were often ahead of their time. They went beyond their convents and beyond their institutions into the community. And they had they had this belief that you go out into the city, you divide the city, you find the ills, and you cure them. And that's what we feel that we need to do with our students, is to instill in them that sense of connectedness to the world around them, and a sense of responsibility to make the world a better place. You see the little picture on the right there. They were lace makers, and this was something they did to help support their communities. And for us, the image of the lace is very important. You'll see it, right in front of our newly open buildings, our academic buildings. There's lace in the architecture of the buildings. But it also is very symbolic for us that just like lace is woven, it's also symbolic of our mission, and how we feel that our mission weaves into everything we do, from our academics to our athletics, to our robust extracurricular programming. All of it is done with the mission in mind. And our sisters, our campus, our faculty, our students themselves create an inspirational environment for our students to thrive in. Our students feel empowered to deepen their faith in a variety of ways. We have monthly liturgies. Even in this COVID world, we've managed to bring our students back as one way to build a sense of sisterhood among the classes. The seniors were there, and we're welcoming the freshmen coming up as a class to be on campus and feel community, which is often so difficult in this COVID world. We also have an extensive retreat program. Our religion and theology curriculum help produce, global citizens, globally minded citizens that feel that, there's that saying by St. James, faith without good works is dead. The good works are alive and well at OLP. Last year, our students completed more than 30,000 hours of community service. Now, this inspirational environment also promotes a culture of academic achievement. When our students look around, who's sitting next to them, who's behind them, beside them, they see like-minded students who take their academics seriously and are pursuing challenging curriculum. At their disposal, they have a high caliber faculty and curriculum. We afford them 36 advanced placement courses and honors courses. We also offer a comprehensive college counseling experience. You know, this walk through the college application process is often confusing, and if you're applying to, you know, 10, 12 schools, it becomes tedious and quite daunting. And we have a support system for that as well. And we're also aware that we welcome all learners. We have our Sisters and Scholars program. Ms. Hickey's here, one of our counselors who leads the Sisters and Scholars program, is a group of counselors, teachers, parents, and education specialists. We come together to create a student success team to help provide our students the necessary resources to ensure academic success. Now, all of these efforts collectively help our graduates head into the next chapter of their lives, which is college after they attend OLP. And we see tremendous success. For example, last year, the class of 2020 received over 862 offers of admission to 263 unique colleges and universities. Over 84% of our graduates were offered at least one scholarship, merit-based scholarship, which is in addition to whatever financial aid they're awarded. Now, collectively, the class of 2020, I'm going to repeat this number probably 2 or 3 times. They earned over $27 million in merit-based scholarships. $27 million. I'll say it one more time, over $27 million in merit-based scholarships. And just as importantly, if not more, 20% of our class of 2020 were first-generation college students, and we're very proud of that. It's uncanny to hear how often we hear from our graduates that leave OLP and tell us about their post-OLP experience. And we have Mr. Moreno here, who could speak to, one of our teachers who could speak to this, and he could share some anecdotes perhaps later on. And Ms. Hickey, I'm sure as a counselor would hear this. Right around August and September, we all get emails and calls, and there's 2 things that always happen. One, they say, you know what, college seems pretty easy compared to OLP. I think I could handle this. I think it's all right. And the second thing they tell us is, you know, it was weird. A professor pulled me aside and said, did you go to an all-girls school? And you know, our students would say, yes. This was Elizabeth Yokley that reached out to me. She said, I said yes. And it was all based upon that she was one of the first and only young women in that class discussion to actually engage the professor in the discussion that they were having in, I believe it was a history class. So when they come out of OLP, they're prepared for these next 4 years. And not only will they survive college, we believe that they thrive in college. And now it's only possible, like this college and readiness comes with the confidence that we help build in our students. And Ms. Anselin will now share in a little more detail what that confidence looks like and how that confidence is formed while your daughters attend OLP.
Thank you so much, Mr. Gonzalez. So I must admit there's no better way for me to start speaking to you all than to inform you of the very reason that I returned to OLP as an educator. And that reason is confidence. So having experienced it firsthand myself, I truly believe that every single student who attends OLP gains this new level of confidence. So for me, as a first-generation student in the US whose primary language was not English, OLP gave me that confidence to use my voice, to authentically share my story, and to truly be all of which woman is capable. I often find it ironic that as a young middle school student, I was so shy. I rarely ever raised my hand or spoke up in class out of fear of misspeaking or being judged. But when I came to OLP, my life literally changed. And it was because of the confidence that OLP gave me that I decided to pursue an English degree at UCLA and come back to OLP to teach English and speech and debate to inspire a new generation of students to also do the same, which is to use their voices in whatever field they are passionate about. And I believe this is a true testament to the confidence that OLP builds within each student. that no matter their experience or background, that confidence will be built. So now when we look at research from Harvard and the National Coalition of Girls' Schools, we find some very discouraging setbacks that young girls face. There is this gap in confidence that takes place particularly during middle school. In middle school, girls are told, and they have been told, that they can be anything that they want to be. And it shows. I mean, they are seizing opportunities close to previous generations in fields such as science, sports, and leadership. But they're also getting another message. And that message is what they look like matters more than any of that. Unfortunately, there has been a rise in depression and anxiety and a dip in confidence for girls, especially as they enter and they experience middle school. The truth is, our culture forces girls to ask deeper questions of themselves earlier than boys. Our culture asks boys, "What do you like to do?" and asks girls, "Who are you?" And there's an immense interior mental pressure put on girls as a result of this. However, at all girls' school settings, they have proven time and time again to help overcome these types of pressures. These types of settings provide girls a certain comfort level that helps them develop greater self-confidence, especially as they approach adolescence. At OLP, we provide the students the platform to take risks, to not be afraid to make mistakes, all while staying true to themselves and their values. Students grow in confidence at OLP. And as I say this, I think of one of my very own students, Kaseba Chibwith, who came to understand the power of listening to other stories and finding that there's so much power in her story too. Her message about society's flawed beauty standards reached countless people as she earned first place in speech tournaments and contests, and even had her speech published in a national magazine. At OLP, students are encouraged to find their voice, to speak their truth, and to be confident in who they are. And I'm telling you firsthand, this truly does happen. And you will hear this from one of our very own students who is here joining us today. So this leads me to another point, and that's about leadership. So the confidence that is built at OLP can also be attributed to the vast amount of student leadership opportunities available on our campus and beyond our campus walls. And I'm not just referring to specific roles or assignments. At OLP, students learn that leadership is a process, and more importantly, that it's not just a title, that leadership is an action. Here at OLP, we generally have over 600 leadership roles available to students, whether it's being on student council, a student ambassador, a link crew leader, a stage manager for theater productions, a Springsteen director, a captain on a sports team, or the president of one of our over 50 clubs and organizations. There is a leadership role for every student, and every single one of those roles is actually occupied by a girl, which makes it even more exciting. So the reality is that programs at girls' schools focus on the development of teamwork. And I'm going to say that again, teamwork over other qualities of leadership, while the qualities of confidence, compassion, and resilience are also ranked prominently. At OLP, we foster leadership skills in every single one of our students. I know I do this, and I know every other single faculty and staff member and administration. We see every single student's potential to be authentic and transformational in their servant leadership, not just through their roles, but through everyday leadership. And what truly inspires us the most is when we see students constantly carrying out our mission to support one another through their simple acts of kindness. And that care is genuine. And now I'm going to pass it back to Mr. Gonzalez to talk a little bit about STEM and how we are dedicated to how girls learn.
Well, simply put, the world needs more women in the STEM fields. And several years ago, under the leadership of Dr. Leck, we decided to invest heavily in our curriculum in science, technology, engineering, and math. We didn't only want them to pursue careers in the STEM field, but we wanted them to thrive and have a seat at the table where women have historically not had a seat. So for example, every year since we invested in this curriculum, every year we've seen more and more of our graduates pursue a career and major in the STEM field. Last year, over 40% of the class of 2020 was planning to pursue major in the STEM field. But, you know, those numbers sometimes don't tell the whole story, because what we see, STEM is an example of where we offer an opportunity where our students can discover a passion that maybe they didn't know existed before. And this was illustrated by two of our graduates from last year, Emma Renz and Caitlin Coons, two students that were recipients of our STEM certificate, which is a designation at the end of their 4 years as part of their graduation, where they enroll throughout their 4 years in STEM courses and then present to faculty and administration the capstone project to illustrate what they've learned in their 4 years, and they have an internship component to that. So these two amazing young women came to the administration and said, look, we want to have this thing called a hackathon. And immediately, those of us in the room went to Google and searched, what is a hackathon? We didn't even know what it was. So it was this idea that they would invite teams from schools around the county to our campus, and they would have a competition where they would be presented with a problem that could be addressed by using the disciplines, the STEM disciplines. And in this particular case, it revolved around sustainability, energy sustainability, and or environmental sustainability. And so they wanted to put this on. And not only did they do this, but they went out into the community. They partnered with our institutional advancement office, and they got this all paid for. They got sponsorships from local businesses or industries, industry leaders in the STEM field. They convinced leaders in the STEM field as judges so they could judge the competition. And they did this all on their own. And what we found, it was a perfect marriage of opportunity that hasn't always been there for young women and the passion that they had. And they took it way beyond the classroom. By the way, those two students were also happened to be our valedictorian and salutatorian last year. So they had academic success outside of the STEM field as well. Now, at the root of this, as students discover the passion, is the commitment at OLP that we really just focus on how girls learn. By eliminating half of the population, it makes that focus a lot easier when we're adopting curriculum, when we're doing professional development for our teachers. We know that for girls to be successful, it's not just a feeling of support. It has to translate into actions that are geared towards student success. And what we found out, and we know this, that they require more feedback on their assignments and other coursework. We know that there's more positive interactions between teachers and students in a single-sex schools than they occur in co-ed schools. Our faculty really strives to focus not just on the student that's in front of them, but the human being who happens to be the student. We know that there's value in an education that is not just transactional, but transformative, right? It's not about here's my homework, here's my test, I turn it into you, and you enter a grade in my grade book. It's really about the process of learning. It's really about, are they better human beings, you know, in May as seniors as they were in August as freshmen? And our teachers it comes through because our teachers themselves are passionate about the content or in the discipline that they've chosen to pursue as their professional career. Now, those of us that have been fortunate before being in administration, I was lucky enough and privileged enough to be a history teacher. And all of us are going to share stories, and I'm sure countless stories of students coming back and talking about that moment where, as a teacher, maybe you weren't really sure if you were reaching a student, if you were connecting with a student, but maybe it was a conversation after a test that didn't do very well, or maybe it was a comment that they remember that you wrote on their essay and took the time to meet with the student afterwards to provide feedback. As you walk around the campus, you'll often see our teachers at break and at lunch, before school and after school, making sure that our students feel, even if they walk out of a classroom with questions about a concept, they want to make sure that they address that. When you provide this environment, Ms. Antolin is going to tell us how this results in our students having higher aspirations.
Thank you. So another benefit of the all-girls school environment is that students who attend these types of institutions actually have heightened career aspirations. There have actually been numerous studies on this, but the most recent study that comes out of Stanford indicates that students at all-girls schools have higher aspirations and greater motivation than their female peers at co-ed, independent, and public schools. And again, that goes back to the idea of confidence that is gained in this type of institution. In fact, girls school graduates expect to attain higher levels of education. And at OLP, we have specific programs designed to help students realize their potential, and we provide them successful pathways to reaching those aspirations. So through annual events such as the Women's Symposium and programs like Architects of Change, we provide our students the opportunity to network with top female leaders in their respective industries and to hear about their journeys in becoming change makers in our world. As I talk about this, I'm actually reminded of Elise Salcedo, a current OLP senior who earned the title of World Champion for Optimist International's oratorical contest last year. And she earned over $22,000 worth in scholarships by sharing her views on how we as a society can practice optimism effectively. One of the many factors that contribute to the success of our students, such as Elise's success, is it's attributed to the incredible mentorship that we have at OLP. The overwhelming majority of girls' school students strongly agree that they feel supported at their schools. In fact, 94.6% feel supported by their teachers and other community members, which is a huge number. And while our teachers, counselors, and staff members, they serve as mentors on a daily basis, we also have a number of programs that help foster these relationships and opportunities for mentorship. For example, we have an advisory program, which we adopted from Character Strong, and this is where faculty and staff serve as mentors to students throughout the entire year. The curriculum of the program is all about developing meaningful relationships and that rapport, and serving students through social and emotional skills and character development and community building and cultivating growth mindsets, which is really what we're all about at OLP. But we also have, which I feel is extremely powerful, peer mentoring. And one example of this type of peer mentoring is Link Crew. It's a program that we have at OLP, and it's a high school transition program that welcomes our 9th graders and makes them feel very comfortable throughout their first year of the high school experience. So it's our juniors and our seniors who serve as mentors and strong support systems, not just during the 9th graders' first year, but it's really a bond that gets carried on throughout life, if you would. So my favorite example of mentorship, though, is that of our current students and our recent grads coming back to lead summer enrichment camps for middle school students. And truly rooted in our mission, our summer enrichment camps empower young girls to engage, to collaborate, and to create an innovative learning environment. At the heart of the program lies the spirit of giving back, which is what we're all about. And OLP alumni such as Danny Magad, who was also a student of mine previously, they find themselves returning home to OLP to serve as professionally trained camp counselors who mentor 4th through 7th grade girls and witness in real time the values and skills that OLP has cultivated in them and the real life impact that they themselves can make in the community as well. So the last point that I'm going to make here tonight, and before I pass it on to Mr. Gonzalez to close us off, is the importance of recognizing how all girls settings. And here at OLP, we really allow girls to be themselves. So time and time again, we hear that girls' school graduates are extremely satisfied with their school's ability to provide individualized attention and feel encouraged to develop their own interests. At OLP, we see this when our students are eager to engage in discussions, not just with their peers, but with their faculty, with the staff, with the administration, about their ideas and passions for how to make our society a better place. And these kind of conversations happen on the daily. I would even say almost 24/7. We get these emails all the time, right? Hey, can we have this conversation? And it's wonderful. And we say, yes, we jump right to it. So what students love about their OLP experience is that they have the support. They have that support to envision and the opportunity, but to envision, to create, to reframe, and to work collaboratively. And all this really instills the confidence required to build a strong sense of self. At OLP, a girl can comprehend her value and her capabilities in ways that have nothing to do with how she looks or who she identifies as. She can be free to explore. She can try out new things and try on new roles. She can follow her ambitions without wasting a second thought or a backward glance on how her male counterparts might perceive her. At OLP, we are about sisterhood. Students feel free and comfortable to express themselves individually, all while truly supporting each other as sisters. And with that, I'm going to pass it on to Mr. Gonzalez.
Thank you, Mrs. Anslin. I think in the final analysis, our goal is simple. It's to prepare your daughters for the real world. Now, when I say that, I know there might be some of you who think, wait a minute, the real world is not all girls, right? They're going to graduate and they're going to go into a world they're not always going to be surrounded by young women. See, what we see in that is that an all-girls education is about the freedom that they're going to experience, not protection from the outside world. As you heard throughout the presentation, they have countless opportunities to pursue and discover and deepen their moral compass without the distractions that come in a co-ed environment. When they go beyond these walls, it will be normal for them to see women as leaders, to see that women are captains of industry, that women are leading nonprofit organizations, that women are seeking elected office, that women are the scientists working on vaccines. Our graduates are savvy. They know that the world outside the walls of Villa Montemar is a complicated one. It's one that, as we see, we look at the news, we see one that is often filled with adversity and conflict. But we feel strongly at OLP that our mission is to prepare women to have a seat at the table, to solve the ills of society, just like our CSJ sisters challenged us so long ago. And we believe very strongly that it's not just women that are going to solve these ills, but more specifically, OLP women of heart, faith, courage, and excellence. Now, as I finish, I don't know how many of you know that our mascot we're the pilots, we're the OLP pilots. And having the pilot as your mascot often leads to very interesting analogies, like our fan student section is the flight crew. Sometimes some of the students refer to the event center as the hangar. It also leads to very strange conversations with your colleagues. Ms. Anton and I were having a discussion a couple weeks ago, and we were talking about whether airplanes had a reverse or it didn't, or whether they didn't have a reverse. And I was saying no, and Ms. Antolin was saying yes. And without getting into too many details, we were both right. But the point of it is that an airplane only flies forward. And at the helm of that airplane are pilots. And so what we're offering you tonight is an opportunity to partner with us for the next 4 years to allow your daughters to fly forward in their next 4 years of education, very important years of their lives. And also, as our ASB council decided to make our theme for this year, we will partner with you to teach them how to fly fearlessly into the next 4 years and the rest of their lives. And with that, if you didn't hear any of that, who you need to listen to is this panel, is specifically Dale and Vivian. And just listen to them, because that's really the metric by which you should make your decision on whether OLP is the place for your daughter. So thank you very much, Ms. Huebner, all yours.
Thank you, Mr. Gonzalez and Mrs. Antolin, for articulating all that is OLP so well. I can't imagine anyone not being impressed by all that you had to say. But as Mr. Gonzalez said, our true experts are those joining us today on our panel. So I will allow them to introduce themselves, but as you can see here, we have a member of our faculty, one of our counselors, a recent alumna, a current student, and a current and past parent. So if you all, if we would start with Mr. Moreno.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Gilberto Moreno, and I'm happy to be here and join you all this evening. I am a member of the faculty serving in the VAPA department and the World Languages department. I've served as department chair of the World Languages department. I was a sophomore class moderator for 15 years, and I coached at OLP for 10 years. But probably my proudest achievement is I could say that I'm the proud father of the valedictorian from OLP from the class of 2030. She doesn't know this yet, so, but we'll get there. I've been working at the Academy for 23 years. So welcome.
Thank you, Mr. Moreno. That one always makes me laugh. Mrs. Hickey.
Good evening, everyone. I'm happy to be here tonight and be able to meet, potential new pilots, coming in next year. This is my 10th year at OLP as a counselor, and it is a really cool place to work. One of the things that I'm in the process of doing right now is writing letters of recommendation for students that I've known since freshman year. And I tear up when I'm writing these letters sometimes, because I just see such amazing things that, these young women have done, and sometimes it's in the areas of academics, sometimes it's sports, sometimes it's more creative things, those VAPA students, and it really is incredible. I love it. I have the students in the alpha split, E through K. And then also I head up a program called Sisters and Scholars, which is for students that have diagnosed learning differences. So a number of students get some minor accommodations at OLP that helps them with their academic success. And they go on to do great in OLP and beyond in college, and they get into great colleges too. So one of the things I just want to let you know is that in our counseling department, each of our counselors is interested to help students, do the best that they can academically. We also are there for students, just to add that extra support on a personal level. And we also help prepare them for college.
Thank you, Mrs. Hickey. Vivian.
Hi everyone, my name is Vivian. I graduated from OLP in 2018, and I am currently a junior at the University of San Diego. I'm majoring in political science with a minor in Latin American studies, and I'm super excited to share a little bit about my love of OLP today. When I was a student at OLP, I did a little bit of everything, which is what most OLP girls would say. I was a Cronolette Circle Student Ambassador Captain. I was president of Fair Trade Commission. I participated in Spring Sing all 4 years. And I was also a senior mentor through our ministry program. At USD, I also do a ton, and I loved hearing Mr. Gonzalez and Mrs. Antolin present, because those are all comments and things that I love about my OLP education. Just today, which was very timely, I met with my academic advisor, and she commented on how my work ethic allowed me to juggle so many different activities at once. And she was really impressed by that work ethic and asked where I had learned those time management skills. And that is something that I can most definitely attribute to my OLP education. And I'm super excited for you guys to learn more about OLP.
Thank you. Dale.
Hi everyone, my name is Dale and I'm a senior this year at OLP.
I'm like Vivian, I'm a captain of Conduit Circle, which is our student ambassador program. And I am on the varsity water polo and varsity surf teams. I'm the co-president of our Green Team Club, which is our environmental club, and also on the leadership team for our literary magazine. And I am also a member of PTV, or Pilot Productions.
Great, thank you. And Mr. Jordan.
Good evening, everybody. I'm Matt Jordan, a parent of a recent graduate, Katie. She graduated in 2020, and then we have a sophomore, Ellie. Katie is off to Villanova, went there this year and is doing extremely well in the honors program. Katie was involved with a lot of extracurricular activities at OLP, which she really enjoyed and was one of the reasons we really liked OLP. Ellie, our sophomore, is our athlete, and she's in the soccer, on the soccer team, and doing very well. So look forward to any of your questions, anything I can answer to help in your decision making as you face the 4 years of high school and with your daughter. So thank you.
Great, thank you. As you can see, we have a wide variety of interests represented here, of definitely of experts in all things OLP. So I encourage you to start entering your questions in the chat. I think that'll be the best use, and I will happily direct them to some of our panelists. If you are comfortable unmuting yourself and you would wish to do so, feel free to do that as well. So we have a question, how many students are at OLP on average? Do you mean full student body? Our full student body is 750 students. So panelists, looks like we're getting some admissions questions, so I can go ahead and take those towards the end. Panelists, if you wouldn't mind answering a question, how, I know a lot of you kind of said it a little in your introduction, but if you had to pinpoint one thing that is your takeaway from OLP, what would that be? What is it, how has it affected you personally? How has it affected your family? What would be that one takeaway that you would say about OLP? Jump right in.
All right, so I'll speak to that one. I'm born and raised in San Diego. I went to Marian Catholic, now Modern Day, and had always heard about OLP, had a lot of very smart friends come to OLP and never seen it, never really knew anything about it. But when I came here, I had no idea what to expect in terms of the culture, the environment, the student body. And now I don't see myself teaching anywhere else. Single-sex education, which I was not familiar with, 23 years ago, it's effective. It really gets to the heart of what these girls need coming in and what these women take with them leaving OLP. You'll hear it over and over again. The experience at OLP is transformative. It's putting all girls into a single classroom and asking them to lead, asking them to express opinions. You see leadership, you see support, you see competitiveness, but it's different competition than I saw in high school and in any of my academic levels. It's competitive, but it's supportive. You want to do your best, but you're also worried about the sister next to you doing her best. And that is something I think, again, it's unique to us in San Diego. It's unique to us because of the charism of the Sisters of St. Joseph. And again, after just a couple of years, I was a firm believer that this was the place for me, that I totally buy into what the sisters were trying to do, to what their efforts were to educating and empowering these women to go off to the world and be change makers.
Yeah, I also wanted to mention that I think having the faith-based education is amazing, and I've seen students, really grow and develop in their faith, and they truly have inspired me. I mean, there've been students that I've been on retreats with, and I hear their stories, and it you know, helps my faith as well. And it's a comfortable environment to be able to talk about that. And I think, you know, of all the things that, you know, you can give your kid, faith is one that is sustaining. And, you know, I also, I sent my son to Catholic school. He's a saintsman. Was a great experience. I saw something in the chat about some activities that students, you know, get involved with, you know, that go between the campuses. You know, there are different dances that happen. This year might be different, of course. You know, students have been involved in the different drama programs, OLP, you know, and Saints. They have done service together in Hogar Infantil down in the orphanage in Tijuana. I'm trying to think. Yes. Okay. I see Dr. Leck is responding in the chat. But anyway, so yeah, but I would say the faith-based one is the main takeaway, you know, but I do think that the relationship that we do have, you know, with Saints, you know, is a unique one. It is good. I don't think that my son, you know, suffered from not, you know, getting to know girls from OLP, and I see the other way around, that the girls do get to know some of the guys at Saints, and that's a good, very positive, normal thing.
Jump in and just say, as a parent, we were not familiar with OLP as our daughters were growing up. We believed in Catholic education, and we're looking at Catholic schools in San Diego. And when we heard about OLP, a friend of ours had their older daughter go. So we went to the open house really without knowing anything about the school, and quite honestly, we were blown away the first visit. It was just a welcoming, positive atmosphere that we felt and our daughters felt, and we knew right away that it was going to be the right place for them. It has not failed us at all. Well worth every cent that we pay for their education and their growth. And it's really it's the whole package, and that's what's really unique about OLP. And I think you can see here tonight, everyone truly cares about the girls who go there and how they progress and how they learn and grow. So just speaking as a parent, I can say it's been a great experience, and I would do it all over again.
I think that for me personally, coming into OLP, I branched out and tried a lot of new things that I hadn't had any experience in. And at OLP, I was able to really develop and hone in on these interests that I think come from the teachers and the faculty that really support you as you explore these things. And I think that at OLP, there's just an abundance of opportunities that any student can find at least one thing, but most girls find multiple things that they take from interest to real passions that they pursue in their futures.
I think for me, what I appreciate most about my time at OLP was the fact that I had 4 years where I really felt like I could do anything. And that came from the support of my incredible faculty, who I still adore, my classmates, not only within my own academic class, but girls below my grade and above my grade. The sisterhood sounds like this mythical thing that you can't really define until you're a student there and you experience it. And it really is one of the most incredible things that you get from OLP, is just having this environment that is so dedicated to seeing you thrive as an individual and doing everything it can to support you and see you succeed.
Thank you all. Those are just wonderful answers. So any other questions in the chat that anyone has seen? Lots of admissions questions. We are, just so you all know, we are going to host an admission, scholarship, and tuition assistance information night. That is going to be, it is on our website now, we just haven't listed the registration link, and that is going to be Tuesday, November 10th, following our open house. So we really encourage you to join in for that, and we will record it and post on our website as well, so that all of these admissions questions, I'd really love to give this time to our panelists who have given their time to this evening. So any questions for our panelists? If you all had any advice for an 8th grader, maybe particularly Dale, but certainly Mr. Jordan as a parent, Vivian as an alum, and 2 longtime faculty members, if you had any advice for an 8th grade family, what piece of advice would you give them?
So when you're considering a high school, the best piece of advice I can give is that OLP is so much more than just a high school. It's really a community that you're entering, and not just, you know, an academic high school. You obviously grow in your academics, but you also grow as an individual. And I think parents should keep in mind that OLP is really the place where your daughter grows into who she is for the next 4 years. So it's so much more than a high school experience. And like Vivian said, that sisterhood, it's just a warm community where everyone really supports each other, and not just that academic box.
I would, just say really the same thing when we were looking at schools, and I would recommend any 8th grade parent and family, look beyond just the academics, look at the entire package. And what's important is how do you feel when you hopefully you can walk around the OLP campus or any other campuses as you make your decision. What's the atmosphere like? What do the students look like? And, how are they acting? And I think that is telling. It helped us because when we walked on the OLP campus, you could just get a feeling that it was just positive. And that, that just leads to the belief that it's more than just academics and it's the whole package. So that was what helped us. And I would recommend looking at it that way as you make your decision.
Absolutely, I would agree with that. I think our actual in-person opportunities are limited, but I think that by attending our open house coming up on November 8th, our virtual open house, you will get a sense of that from the conversations that are going to be happening among our students and our faculty. You'll get a nice good range of different faculty members across academic departments and students and their different interest levels. And I think you will definitely be able to pay attention to that dynamic that exists between students, between each other, and students and faculty together. Great point, thank you.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a challenge as far as, checking out high schools. And, typically I tell parents, you have to kind of look around, you have to step foot on the campuses, and that might be a little challenging. But we definitely have looked at how we could do that virtually, and, the campus is lovely and, it is amazing when you step foot on there. But really, the most important thing is the people, that you're going to be with, over those 4 years. And so being able to just introduce yourself, to your future teachers and staff, I think it's very important. Erica,
I was muted. Yeah, thanks. There is a question about the current academic schedule. Either Dale or Mr. Moreno, if you would like to take that. I mean, we are optimistic that by next fall, we will be back to all things pre-COVID and even better and stronger than ever before. But if you wouldn't mind taking that question.
I think I'm gonna let Dale take it away.
So, thanks, Mr. Moreno. So our current learning situation is a bit of like an alpha split. So on Mondays and Tuesdays, so I'm in the first half of the alphabet, so I go on campus, and then on Thursdays and Fridays, I'm virtual. But still during those class periods, we have girls virtual and on campus, and it's been so successful so far, and it's really interesting to see how we've been able to continue having group discussions in class when there's a girl at a desk and then a girl at home in her desk, and it still works. And I think that's something that OLP has been doing really well. And I don't feel like I'm missing anything curriculum-wise, and I think a lot of girls can agree with that.
That's a great answer, Dale. I think the only thing I'd add is Wednesdays. I think the school is committed that during this time, it's kind of stressful to be part-time on campus, part-time a virtual student. Family situations vary from one family to the next. The school is committed to giving the students and the faculty by and large a day of respite there to kind of catch up, to take a breath. We call it Wellness Wednesday, and just a chance to recenter and come back for a second half of the week and go at it again.
Except, of course, when you get roped into a panel on a Wednesday night. Dale, your answer kind of made me think. You said that you don't feel like you're missing out on anything curricular. If you could just speak to our co-curricular activities, such as, this week we're celebrating Halloween all week long, and your cohort was able to dress up in Halloween costumes yesterday since you were on campus. If you could just speak to a little bit of how we are incorporating all those fun, joyful things that are so OLP into this hybrid schedule.
Yeah, I was actually thinking about that in preparing for this panel, how back in March when we transitioned to online, as most people did, that OLP community sense is still, it never left, and it might have even gotten so much stronger with this hybrid, because we've learned that the OLP community really thrives when we are together, so we do as much as we can to be together. So yesterday we had Halloween costumes, and now instead of doing an in-person Halloween contest, we're still doing an online contest where girls can submit their costumes and vote online. So there's little things like that happen every week where OLP girls, whether at home or in person, can still get together and expand that OLP sisterhood.
Thank you. Well, I do want to be mindful of our time, so we're happy to take any additional questions. I believe Dr. Leck and Mrs. Hooper have gotten to several of them in the chat, things like starting your own club, things of that nature, partnering with other Catholic schools such as Cathedral and Mater Dei. I don't know if any of you have anything to add to that experience or to the starting your own club experience. We do offer over 55 different clubs, so highly likely that your daughter will find a club that fits her interests. But obviously they do have the opportunity to start something new if they would like to do that. Any of you like to add to any of that?
I can talk about starting your own club. I was involved in a lot, and I learned about fair trade in one of my religion classes with Mr. Kirschbaum. And a couple of classmates and I were really passionate about fair trade, and we found out that you could get your high school fair trade certified. So we founded a Fair Trade Commission. We went through the entire process, and we got OLP certified as a Fair Trade Commission high school. And then my co-presidents and I were able to travel to Washington, D.C. to a fair trade conference that they sponsored us to go on. So it was a great learning experience for us. And not only were we able to start our own club and get more girls involved with it, but we also got a lot of our own leadership experience out of it.
Great, thank you. And you had a little shout out from Mrs. Allen, who's on here as a prospective parent. If there are any other further questions, we are happy to answer them. We do know that we indicated that this would end at 7 p.m. So if you do need to go, feel encouraged to log off and just make sure that you take a look at our other virtual events, so that these are all meant to complement each other. Not just attending one event doesn't necessarily tell you everything that you need to know about joining us at OLP, and we encourage you to attend as many as you are able. And We look forward to seeing you on those future virtual events. And we will, those of us that can, we will stay on. But if you've received the information that you are looking for tonight, you are free to sign off, and we will stay on as long as we're able.